Now at 5, a bridge in Baltimore crumbles like a pile of toothpicks after a container ship crashes into one of its support pillars. Plus, the public turns out for a job fair and career expo at Crowder College in Neosho, Missouri. And Supreme Court justices weigh access to abortion medication. We look at the arguments revealed and how they could rule in this high-stakes case.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Tanya Bach. At least 6 construction workers are believed to be in the water at the site of the bridge collapse in the Port of Baltimore. Now, search efforts continue as federal investigators arrive on the scene. Ryan Hughes has the latest.
Search and rescue efforts for missing construction workers are still underway after the stunning collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in the middle of the night. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and the NTSB are here at the scene.
And what they're going to look at and begin to collect is information on vessel operations, safety history, safety record.
The whole bridge just fell down.
Video shows the moment a massive container ship struck support pillars of the critical overpass. John Zafia is a crane operator at the port and felt the impact from his nearby home.
Just like an aftershock of an earthquake and a loud explosion.
The crew aboard the 974-foot vessel notified state officials the ship had lost propulsion and that hitting the bridge was possible.
There's a ship approaching. It just lost their steering.
Maryland's governor says that heads up helped save lives.
We're thankful that between the Mayday and the collapse that we had officials who were able to begin to stop the flow of traffic.
12 million vehicles crossed Baltimore's Key Bridge last year, and the port itself handled a record amount of cargo. It's not closed until further notice. President Biden promised federal aid.
It's my intention that the federal government will pay for the entire cost of reconstructing that bridge.
The president said 15,000 jobs depend on that port. That includes Zafia's.
That's going to affect all of our work down there.
Officials say the bridge was fully up to code. Ryan Hughes, CBS News, Baltimore County, Maryland.
The facility has been set up with mental health professionals for family members to deal with this tragedy. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us.
Well, much colder day outside for us today. Temperatures only got into lower 40s. 4 highs, 43 in Joplin. Pittsburgh is sitting at 42 degrees. So it's pretty chilly. We should be into lower 60s this time of the year. But you can see everybody mainly lower 40s where there is some sunshine, making it out into the upper 40s. But look at our 24-hour temperature change, about 15 to 20 degrees colder right now compared to this time last night. Freeze warning in effect until 10 a.m. It's kind of late in the season. Pretty hard freeze for us tonight as temperatures are going to drop into the mid-20s. Now the clouds starting to break up a little bit, so with the clearer skies, that's going to help our temperatures drop off. We are pretty quiet the next couple days. We do start to warm back up as well. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, a former Joplin resident is trying to locate an accidentally donated book. The illustrated book about dinosaurs holds a special place in her heart. It was gifted to her by her dad, who is currently fighting 2 different cancers. Ashley Arthur unintentionally donated the childhood book to Second Chances in Joplin in the Christmas of 2022.
This was something that I could, cherish. It's just, sorry, I'm emotional about it, but it's just, I don't have a lot to hang on to of my life in general.
Second Chances says they tried helping to locate the book, but it could have taken one of 2 paths. It may have been bought by a client of the store, or it could have been donated to the Salvation Army. Arthur says the book has a picture of a T-Rex on the front with an orange background. It also has an inscription on the inside cover from her father. If you think you might have the book, contact our reporter Fernanda Silva and go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Crowder College played host to a job fair and career expo today. The event featured nearly 70 area businesses. This year, the college partnered with the Tri-State Human Resources Association to provide free services such as career coaching, elevator pitch preparation, resume review and writing, interview etiquette, mock interviews, and networking tips. The free event was open to the public. Pittsburgh area young professionals held a lunch and learn event today. The public was welcome to join the Pittsburgh Police Department for the event and enjoy some lunch from OPs. For event organizers, the day also provided an opportunity for other young professionals to network with their peers. Matthew Campbell, a Pittsburgh State University police officer, also conducted a presentation on self-defense and safety. Protesters on both sides of the abortion issue gathered outside the Supreme Court today as the justices heard arguments on whether the Food and Drug Administration adequately considered safety when it expanded access to the so-called abortion pill, mifepristone. In 2016, the FDA extended the window women can take the pill from 7 to 10 weeks and said during the pandemic, it said an in-person doctor's visit was not needed. Critics argue those changes compromise women's health.
Today, I argued before the United States Supreme Court on behalf of doctors and medical associations who have witnessed these harms firsthand. The FDA violated federal law and its duty to keep women safe. It's particularly appalling if the FDA based its 2021 decision to remove that in-person visit on studies it acknowledged were, quote, not adequate.
If the justices decided to roll back the use of mifepristone, it could still be used up to 7 weeks of pregnancy instead of 10, but it would be harder to get through the mail through telehealth appointments. Still ahead, a medical mystery solved.
A condition misdiagnosed as migraines led to a long medical mystery for one young woman. I'm Bradley Blackburn with how she finally got answers and treatment for epilepsy.
And a new study links artificial light at night to a higher risk of strokes. We'll explain.
It all starts with
Topping today's Health Watch, people continuously exposed to bright artificial light at night may be at a higher risk of having a stroke. That's according to researchers in China who found the excessive use of artificial light can also be a potential risk to brain health. They advise people living in urban areas to limit their exposure to bright lights. Well, researchers at the University of South Carolina have discovered that statins, normally used to lower cholesterol, can also be used to improve gum health. They found statins can lower inflammation from periodontal disease, and scientists say the drug treatments may one day replace invasive procedures like surgery to treat gum disease. A new study finds similarities between cancer tumors and tuberculosis. Researchers at the University of Notre Dame are experimenting with drug combinations used to treat cancer to see their effectiveness on tuberculosis granulomas, which are tight clusters of white blood cells. They're finding the cancer drugs can open blood flow to the clusters so medication can get to the TB bacteria. March 26th is Purple Day, a global effort to raise awareness about epilepsy. About 50 million people around the world suffer from the condition, but it can often go undiagnosed. Bradley Blackburn has the story of how one young woman who had a long journey to get vital treatment.
For nearly a decade, Ivy Hogan lived with a medical mystery. When she was just 17, she started experiencing episodes where she'd lose her vision. Some mornings she'd wake up with blood on her pillow from biting her tongue.
It would just hit. It would kind of creep in from the sides.
Her parents were alarmed, but she says her pediatrician diagnosed it as migraines and stress.
You never thought this was a seizure, though?
No. That was never on my radar.
She lived with the symptoms for years, through college and after she married her husband Jake. 4 years ago, in the middle of the night, he woke up to her clearly having a seizure.
I'm just so lucky that he was there.
She finally got the right diagnosis from Dr. Madeline Fields at Mount Sinai in New York. Hogan has a type of epilepsy that is triggered by hormones.
You can see these rhythms persisting.
Hogan's brain scans show how a seizure is an earthquake in the brain, but her story proves they come in many different forms, some very subtle.
The vast majority of seizures are not the classic, what you see on TV, sometimes called grand mal or tonic-clonic convulsions. It's often what brings people to medical attention, but is not typically how people present with seizures.
The diagnosis and correct medication have given Hogan her life without fear of seizures.
I feel like I'm glad that this happened to me, because I know that I'm strong enough to deal with it.
And she wants others living with a mystery to keep asking for answers. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Hogan has been seizure-free for nearly a year, and after her experience, she's decided to change careers and studied to become a neurology nurse to give others with epilepsy the care that has made such a difference for her. Well, that's a look at today's health news. A little later, 7 months ago, a wildfire ravaged the island of Maui, and now several businesses say they are open and ready for business.
Plus, we have a freeze warning in effect for us tonight. When are we going to warm back up? We're going to look at that coming up. Well, of course, a much colder day outside for us today. Temperatures only got into lower 40s, and that was only due to a little bit of sun that we've gotten just over the past couple hours. So our temperatures have shot up just a little bit, but gosh, 20 degrees below where we should be for this time of the year. Nice shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. But yesterday, lower 60s. Then the tumble with those scattered thunderstorms we had yesterday evening, and then got all the way down to freezing during the morning hours, and it's going to get colder for us tonight. Freeze warning in effect just due to a lot of the plants out there budding. If you've done some planting already outside, if they can't take a freeze for several hours, may want to cover them up, but mid-20s for us tonight. Right now we're sitting lower 40s, and then you get into the upper 40s once you get into our western counties. But a little bit of sun, not a lot, a little bit. 43 in Joplin west, northwesterly winds at 13, gust over 20. Those winds will start to calm down a little bit, but it's going to take a while after midnight tonight. But still those westerly winds at about 10 to 20 across the region. We'll slide back through the 40s, 30s, mid-20s later on tonight. We're right on the back edge of the clouds. This is on the backside of the storm system that rotated through yesterday. If we look out toward the west, not a whole bunch going on. We have the northerly flow out of Canada, and that's why it's pulling in that cooler air. Thankfully, it's not going to last for too long. Let me walk you through time. Look at our temps. 25 in Nevada, 26 in Anderson, Bentonville, 27 in Miami, 26 in Parsons by morning. We have mostly sunny skies, mid-40s by noon. We get a few clouds in here late, but we do get into the mid-50s, which is better than what we have seen. Tomorrow night, a few clouds, scoot on through, still cold. We're going to drop back right around freezing once again by Thursday morning. But check this out, by Thursday afternoon, mid-60s, so we're heading back in the right direction, and these temperatures on Thursday are right about where we should be for this time of the year. And then Thursday night, we only drop back into the upper 40s to near 50 degrees, so it gets better. All right, your Wednesday planner, 28 at 7, 45 by noon, 53 by 4, high temp, 55 degrees. Let's go down the road because it does get better. We have a lot of clouds, a lot of wind as we get into Friday, but temperatures into the lower 70s for highs. On Saturday, a few thunderstorms across central Missouri, but look at this. We're going to be mid-70s to pushing 80 degrees, but we're going to have to watch for some thunderstorm chances by the time we get a little bit closer toward Easter Sunday. So I'm going to put us in a hot spot Easter Sunday, another hot spot on Monday for chances for showers and thunderstorms, some of those strong, possibly severe, as we get into early next week. All right, freeze warning tonight, 55 Wednesday, 64 Thursday, 72 on Friday, 76 Saturday, and then 80 degrees Easter Sunday, 81 on Monday with those thunderstorm chances. We'll look a little deeper at that coming up tonight at 6.
Yes, I can tell my kids they can finally wear their shorts again this weekend.
Yeah?
Yes.
For a couple days.
Till it gets cold again. Yep. All right. Thanks, Doug. Well, coming up, what Trader Joe's has to say about not raising the price of bananas for 2 decades until now. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill that would create one of the nation's most stringent social media bans for minors. The bill, which is expected to face legal challenges, would ban social media accounts for children 14 and under. And it would require parental permission for 14 to 15-year-olds. It's set to take effect in January of 2025. The IRS is giving taxpayers a heads up about more than $1 billion in unclaimed refunds. The IRS says about 940,000 people in the U.S. have until May 17th to submit tax returns for refunds from the tax year 2020. Well, the price of a single banana at Trader Joe's has held steady at 19 cents for more than 2 decades. But now the grocery chain is raising the cost to 23 cents a piece. Trader Joe's didn't cite the reason, while industry experts at the World Banana Forum this month said banana prices around the world were very likely to rise due to climate change. Well, 7 months ago, a wildfire ravaged Maui, killing more than 100 people and destroying 2,200 structures. And while it will take several more years to rebuild, most of the island is open, and local businesses say what they need now is more tourists for an economic recovery. Wendy Gillette reports from Maui.
There's no shortage of hugs these days for Caleb Hopkins, co-owner of Mala Ocean Tavern on Front Street in Lahaina, where most structures were lost last August in the devastating Maui wildfire.
You can see the path that went just right around us. You know, it's just a miracle that it's still here.
The 24-table tavern reopened in February next to the crashing ocean and steps away from the burn zone, where a checkpoint keeps people out. Inside, laughter has returned to the restaurant known for its oyster shooters and ahi bruschetta.
It's giving people a little piece of history back.
Co-owner Javier Barberi lost his home in Lahaina, as did many of the staff, but all were eager to return to work.
To be able to reopen is a sign of hope for other restaurants, other businesses.
Hope is also on board Trilogy Excursions sunset and whale watching sales. The night of the fire, co-owner Riley Kuhn rescued people who ran into the ocean to escape the flames, even as one of his boats and 2 family homes burned.
Maui's going to take a long time to heal. This fire has affected everybody.
The Hawaii Tourism Authority says Maui visitor arrivals are down about a quarter since the fire, as is overall spending. A critical drop on this island heavily dependent on tourism dollars.
70 cents of every dollar circulating in Maui's economy is attributable to visitor spending.
Many hotels are pitching in. In Waikiki, the Royal Hawaiian is donating $1 to the recovery for each signature Mai Tai that's ordered. At Maui's Fairmont Kealani in Wailea, where we also stayed for a special rate, the new lobby bar Pilina is using island-sourced ingredients to support local businesses. And at its just opened cultural center, visitors can experience traditional songs about Lahaina and hula.
My biggest message and invitation to everyone is just to come with respect and a desire to understand.
To that end, tourists are advised to not ask locals about their personal experience during the fire. Mala Ocean Tavern added a sign with the request.
We're here to put on our brave face and smile and have fun and get back to normal.
It's a new kind of normal on an island where the Hawaiian spirit continues to shine. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Maui.
The Hawaii Tourism Authority has a list of tips to be a compassionate traveler to Maui, including not going near the burn zone or taking pictures of it or anything else that is sensitive. A final check of the forecast is next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, with a number of people still missing, the latest on the active search and rescue operation at the Francis Scott Key Bridge. And then on KOAM News at 6, a former Joplin resident is trying to locate an accidentally donated book. We're going to find out what's so special about this particular book. Plus, a former police chief in Arkansas is arrested for theft. And the Pitt State football team is back on the practice field. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. And it is cold outside.
It is, and it's going to be a cold one tonight. Freeze warning in effect as temperatures drop back into the mid-20s for overnight lows. 55 tomorrow, 64 on Thursday, up to 72 on Friday. The winds really start to pick up, but at least our temperatures rebound fairly quickly.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Of course, the CBS Evening News is next, and we'll be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Have a great evening and an even better tomorrow.